Bawumia and a close associate of the campaign as well, Sammi Awuku, who is also the parliamentary candidate for the Kwapim North constituency. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. Sammi Awuku. Welcome to Eyewitness News. Congratulations on finally arriving on Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh as your candidate's running mate. What were the considerations that the National Council made before confirming the choice of Dr. Bawumia?
Good evening, and thank you for having me. Good evening to your cherished listeners as well. So today, the NPP took steps finally to complete the ticket, the presidential ticket for the December 7th general election. And as the General Secretary stated, the party was awaiting, first of all, the name of the nomination of the flag bearer in consultation with the National Council. The National Council of the party is the second highest decision-making body, and clothed with the power to take decisions, deliberate, approve or disapprove the running mate of the presidential candidate. I can also state on authority that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, for the last few months, has gone into deep consultations with the various stakeholders of the party. He's met almost every department of our party, consulted the National Council of Elders, consulted the national executives of the party, consulted the leadership of Parliament, consulted his boss, His Excellency the President, consulted His Excellency the former President, and consulted again the regional chairman of our party and various stakeholders of our party. Indeed, as he stated today at the National Council, the NPP, indeed, we have the men, we have the women. And almost all the people he considered were more than qualified, and I use his own words. But he needed to come to a decision point. To the decision point that he came, the criteria that he did set was the person's loyalty to the party, the person's loyalty to the government and the president, because he's the leader of our government and the leader of our administration. The person's also loyalty to the cause of the new Patriotic Party. The person should have a broad-based appeal within the party, because he also needs the party's buy-in and somebody who can also help him win the general election. And again, lastly, the person who can also help excite the base of the party's stronghold, which is the Ashanti region. With all these put on the table, and I quote him, he said he had other people as well who also met the criteria. But amongst them emerged Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, the one that he believed that with this partnership, with this combined pair, they should be able to deliver victory for the NPP. Again, he also paid glowing tribute to the president for the support he's received from him and the National Party from the time that he himself, some years ago, over 14, 15 years ago, when he was first made running mate. It was an emotional period for him, and very emotional, as he thanked his boss and thanked the leadership of the party and the members of the National Council. Today, Dr. Bawumia is the leader of the party. He's no longer the second person on the ballot, on the ticket. He is the main man to deliver victory. He called for support. He called for a rallying point for all of us to support him and his chosen running mate. So he spoke about the qualities of his running mate, which the General Secretary, I just said a while ago, read about. And then he asked for support for him. So almost every department then was given an opportunity. The Council of Elders had to also speak on the floor, represented by their national leader, that is the very venerable Honorable Hackman Owusu-Agyemang, also given the position of the Council of Elders in approval. The Ashanti Regional Chairman, who is the Dean of the Regional Chairman, also spoke on behalf of the Chairman, Caucus, to also give their endorsement. The President of the Republic also had to also speak on his own behalf and as leader of our government. Again, the chairperson of the NPP branch of USA, representing the diasporan community of our party, also spoke. The leader of the parliamentary group, the Honorable Alex Afenyo-Markin, also spoke. So afterwards, then there was no need to cast a ballot because it was unanimous. And the General Secretary then made a call as to all those who were in favor to also vote by hand, and it was a unanimous decision. And let me also say that Dr. Bawumia had also done extensive work on the ground by making sure that he also engaged the various stakeholders of the party. So it was more of a consensus meeting. Let me, on his behalf as well, and behalf of the campaign, congratulate Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh. We welcome him into the space of the bigger Bawumia and the NPP family. We also work hand in hand with him to make sure that he's comfortable also joining all of us to campaign for victory. We believe that what we have started will be a good complement. And as the next few days, we roll out an elaborate, intensive, and insightful campaign, he will also be able to contribute his quota for the victory of the NPP in December. So next week, Tuesday, the NPP will be performing two duties. Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh is a native of the Ashanti region. So we will be presenting him to the Ashanti Council and to His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei in Kumasi next week, Tuesday afternoon. And then from there, we'll proceed to outdoor him at the Jubilee Park in Kumasi. Then afterwards, Dr. Bawumia will hit the campaign trail up north to begin the constituency by constituency campaign, whilst his running mate also begins his tour within the country. So these are busy days ahead for the NPP, and the NPP is determined to win this December election. And I will repeat, we will beat the NDC on strategy, and they won't understand.
Very well. So interesting. You mentioned the fact that there was a broad-based appeal, and you needed somebody who would excite the base. Speaking of which, we in the last few days had some dissenting views in respect of the choice. For example, the Honorable Andrew Akubi, who we understand is also a member of the National Council, he had said before that he did not approve of this choice and that he will make his voice heard at National Council when the candidate is presented to them. Was he at the meeting? Did anything like that come up? Did he speak, or he wasn't there at all?
I think we've moved on from there. First of all, he wasn't at National Council today. And again, let me also state that it's a democracy. What the Vice President said is a broad-based appeal. He didn't say 100% appeal. That's why it's a democracy. And then if once in the room, we've had 100% approval today, I did not hear of any dissenting view. In fact, we even made a call for if there's any dissenting view, and nobody spoke against it. So we've moved on from that.
Very well, but
looking into the future.
Yes, very well. But we need to understand
and
the
again,
past.
The parliamentary group was represented by the leader of the parliamentary group.
Very well, and I understand he spoke and said a few good things.
So if indeed there was any dissenting amongst his group at this point, he would have aired it.
Very well. So speaking about Ashanti being the heartbeat of the party, we know that when the announcement was made, or when news broke that he was going to be the gentleman to partner Dr. Bawumia, there was a group also in the Ashanti region called the Patriotic Movement for Bawumia. They were also unhappy about this. You know about that, and what has happened to them since?
I haven't heard of this group before. Who is the leader of the group?
The leader of the group is a gentleman by name Paul Kwabena Yando, who presented a petition to the Ashanti Regional Communication. I mean, he presented a petition to the office of Bawumia's campaign in the region.
First of all, today, the National Council has taken a decision and they have accepted the choice of the presidential candidate. All we believe is that let all of us rally round. The NDC, among the National Council of the elders of their party or so, when Professor Jinan Opoku was presented, not everybody was in support, but they rallied round the flag, same as the NPP. I'm sure that if you put a ballot box there, even Dr. Bawumia did not get 100%. He got majority decision. Same as Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, I'm sure and convinced that if you put a ballot box there, you won't get 100%. That notwithstanding, our loyalty to the party dictates that when you abide by party decisions, and it's in Article 3 of our party's constitution, 3 and 4. So a decision has been made. And it behoves on all of us as members of the party to proceed accordingly.
Very well. Just a quick correction. Paul Kwabena Yando is actually the Ashanti Regional Communications Officer. The group I'm talking about was led by Ebenezer Nyamiche. So just to correct that. Yes.
I've been with Dr. Bawumia throughout the campaign.
Yes, I think your point about it not being 100% is clear.
Yeah.
So
personally, I won't say that I don't know them or I know them. But what I would say is It's a democracy.
Very well.
Majority. And again, this is not an election. The party's constitution is clear. The presidential candidate in consultation with the National Council. So the presidential candidate himself laid it bare on the criteria, the things he considered, and then presented to National Council. National Council is the second highest decision-making body. So once a decision is taken, we abide by it. But I'm excited about the fact that Dr. Bawumia himself, not under pressure, not under any siege, took his time to deliberate on the issues, did this broad-based consultation. It was a very difficult one for him. Let me be very honest. A very difficult decision for him because almost each and every one was qualified, those that he was considering. And there were times that I could see from the eyes of my boss that it's a difficult call. But a time comes when the decision will have to be made. He made that choice. He made that decision. And all those of us around him, we assured him of our unalloyed support to see him through these difficult times.
All right, very well. So, of course, we saw Dr. Bawumia in 2012, of course, 2008, 2012, and 2016. And in 2012 and 2016, he had a specific role to play on the campaign. He took on the economy. Is there any such plan for Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh? What specific role will he be playing in the campaign? Do you know? Will you want to share that now?
No, I wouldn't like to share that. But I can tell you that he has a specific role that he's going to play.
Very well.
But I'm not going to share that.
And we know it's a contest. Just when his name was mentioned sometime last week, we began seeing some short clips of things he had said in the past, etc., which people deemed unpalatable. Have these things come to your notice, and how do you hope to deal with them?
You want to play tapes? We have several examples of various candidates, including the opposition leader. So it's part of the politics. And I don't think you expect the NDC to hold a party in honor of Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh. They definitely will have to also come up with things that, with all respect, will be to also attack his integrity, his personality, and him joining the ticket. But let me start by saying he's a distinguished personality. He will make a great compliment to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And the truth of the matter is, it's an election between John Dramani Mahama and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Nana Opoku Ajiman, Professor, Matthew Opoku Prempeh, Doctor, will be playing complementary roles to their various bosses. You have to put their two bosses on the scale. Their record of achievement, both have been vice presidents before, and one has been president. When both were vice presidents, what were their contributions to the nation's development? Innovation, initiative, and driving the Ghanaian society is economic and all the things that comes to play. What were they able to introduce? Dr. Bawumia has introduced in excess of 32 new things and championed them to perfection. So Mr. Mahama also has to tell the Ghanaians when he was vice president, what he was able to do. God being so good, he became president, so we also saw what he was able to do. Unfortunately, the Ghanaian people took him out and said that his performance was unsatisfactory. Dr. Bawumia has not been president before, and so I believe that if there is anything to judge, he presents us with a unique opportunity to also see what he can offer. A vote for Mr. Mahama means that it's a retirement package. He's not coming back to seek your mandate. It's straight away a honeymoon vote. A vote for Dr. Bawumia means that he must justify and vindicate the Ghanaian people's vote for him to come back if he wants to seek another term. So all these things are now going to be rolled out in the coming days. This election is not just about NPP and DC. No, this election is about what the two candidates, the two northern candidates, Dr. Bawumia and Mr. Mahama brings to the table and what they are offering the Ghanaian people, the cocktail of things that they are offering for all of us to take an informed decision and position on it.
Very well. So what's next for Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh now? He's Minister for Energy, he's parliamentary candidate as well for Mensah South. What happens from here? Resign from both positions, or he will carry on with that of the ministry role?
The party will definitely, you can't be a vice presidential candidate and be a member of parliament. So I'm sure definitely the party will have to take a decision at a point, and I'm sure the decision is going to be in some few days' time. My understanding is that the party will take steps once he's been accepted now by the National Council. the party must take steps to also roll out a plan to fill the gap. On the issue of him being energy minister, Article 58, Article 59 says that all those who are appointed, they are performing their roles at the behest of the president. And I think that so far, he's shown that he can chew gum and walk at the same time. So unless at any point in time you think that the one is suffering, that's when you can take it. I'm a parliamentary candidate, and I'm also the Director General of the National Lottery. The president in 2020 was a candidate himself and running for office again, and also a sitting president. The vice president is vice president, sitting vice president, and also a candidate in the election. Mr. Mahama, when he was there, was the sitting president and also running as a candidate. So we'll look at the dynamics.
So for now, you can't say for sure that Dr. Matupoku Pempe will resign as energy minister. You can't say that for sure.
The power to appoint and disappoint is in the hands of the president.
But he also has the choice to resign on his own to concentrate on the campaign.
These are decisions that will be taken as we move along the line.
Very well. Thank you so much, Sammi Awuku, the senior member of the Bawumia campaign team, speaking